What's up, everyone? Corey Parks here with Hydro Help 911. Back again to talk with you a little bit about what all goes into a crawlspace encapsulation and how we cost it out. Stay tuned and we'll talk more about it. So one of the questions we get asked a lot, especially when we're posting before and after pictures on social media, is how much does a crawlspace encapsulation cost? And a lot of people will message us, hey, can you give me a price on 2,000 square feet? And so I'm hoping in this video we can explain to you what goes into the cost of an encapsulation and how we determine the price of that. The first and probably the biggest factor would be the square footage of that crawl space. A crawl space that is 800 square feet is going to be drastically less than a crawl space that's 2,800 square feet. So that's probably the most important thing we're looking at. The second thing would be how much room do we have to work? How tall is that crawl space? Can we walk around, which we've had crawl spaces like that before, or are we on our bellies? Of course, if we can freely walk in and out and get where we need to go and do a lot of the work from our feet, then we're going to be able to accomplish the job a lot quicker than if we're having a belly crawl throughout the crawl space. What type of insulation is currently in the crawl space? Is it foam board on the wall? Is it fiberglass insulation in between the floor joist? Or is it spray foam? Has mold gotten into that insulation? If it's spray foam and there's mold embedded in the spray foam and there's water damage, unfortunately, we're going to have to remove all that, and you can imagine the cost that's going to be associated with that just because it's going to take a long time. It's labor intensive. Is there mold growing on the flooring system, on the wood? Or is it embedded into the insulation as I just previously described? If there's mold, then we're going to have to take care of that because our warranty, when we're finished with an encapsulation, covers against mold from ever coming back. Them are right there just are some of the bigger costs. Then we have to look at, is there standing water? Is there a drainage issue in this crawl space? Do we need to install a drainage system, a sump pump, to make sure that we remove all the water from that system? A lot of people don't know, but an encapsulation does not protect against standing water. A drainage system would be the first step in that process. Based on the size of the crawl space, how many square feet it is will tell us how big of a dehumidifier that we need. If it's 2,200 square foot or below, then a 70-pint dehumidifier will be adequate for that. If it's 2,200 and above, then we're going to have to step up to a 95-pint, which the bigger the dehumidifier, the more the dehumidifier itself costs. How thick of a liner does the customer want? Do they want a 15 mil, a 36 mil, or a 90 mil? That's going to play a role into cost, and there's pros and cons to each, and we'll do another video later on what the benefits are. Is there electrical already in the crawl space, or are we going to have to hire an electrician to come in and run some electrical for us, put in an outlet? If the crawl space needs a sump pump and a dehumidifier, if it needs sump pump and a dehumidifier, then we're going to have to pull a dedicated circuit from the breaker panel. If it just needs one or the other, then we may be able to jump off some power that's already under the crawl space. Does the crawl space have structural damage? Is there termite damage or moisture damage where wood needs to be replaced, or are piers sinking? Does it need more piers? Do we need to level the floor up? A lot of this goes into what the customer's looking for and how much their budget will allow. And then the final thing that a lot of companies overlook is does the crawl space door need to be replaced? The goal of encapsulation is to try to seal the crawl space up as best as possible, so the dehumidifier can work efficiently and effectively. So, do we need to replace that door? All these things are items that go into factoring the cost of a crawl space encapsulation. And for that reason, we can't give a price based on just a square footage. We really need to come out, put our eyes on it, take a look at what all is needed to be able to give you an accurate price. If we could price it over Facebook or over the phone, it would make our job a lot easier. But simply put, we just can't do that. If you got any questions about crawlspace encapsulations, crawlspace mold remediation, waterproofing, structural repair, let us know. 704-813-9554. Or you can check us out online at hydrohelp911.com. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Y'all have a good day.